Hello everyone, I'm going to be reviewing the Epson P400. I've got two of them here. This is a pigment ink printer, which means it will print with inks that may not be as vivid as dye inks. I'll show you a comparison, but they last longer. So let me show you some of the things and the features of this printer, what makes it a good printer, and what are some of its setbacks. Okay, now what I like to do when I have any of my printers not in use, I turn them off. I'm actually also thinking of getting a cover for them to prevent any air or dust getting in them, to keep the print head from drying out, and also to prevent dust getting on the print head at any point in time. So we're going to go ahead and turn on the printer. And what I've noticed was interesting about this printer. One, it has a sensor that says, hey, the lid is open. If the lid is open when it's about to print, it won't let you. But if you're printing, you can lift it up. It won't affect the job that it's working on. Okay, so one of the things that I've noticed that this printer will do occasionally, and it's a setting in the printer manager, is it's called ink density. What it does is it takes, I was hoping it would do it, sometimes it does it on startup. But what it does is, do I have no ink in this one? I think I don't have any ink. That's why it didn't do anything. Okay, we'll put some ink in here and I'll show you. Okay, so now I have all of my inks in the cartridge, and the colors that it has is yellow, magenta, and this is matte black, red, orange, photo black, gloss optimizer. This is a clear spray that it puts over, and cyan. So go ahead and put that in. And one of the features that it has, we'll see if it does it now, is that it will actually shake the carriage left and right. And it's called ink density, but one of the things that it's doing, because a lot of times air can get in the print head or just in the line, and what that will do is, yeah, there you go. So this is causing the air to go up and the ink to go down, so that you make sure you're getting ink spraying out of the print head, which is not a feature on the older. This is the Epson 1430. It's a dye-based ink. And I'll show you a comparison of both print speed and picture quality. This is semi-gloss photo paper. Okay, so here's the picture we are going to print. So we will select, I'm in Photoshop right now, we will select the printer that we want so that it formats it properly. And you have these options here. Retaining size. So that's very helpful for some applications. You want borderless, but you don't want to expand your picture. So it gives you that option more. On the 1430, it does not give you that option. You also have a lot more options here, including feeding things both through the normal paper slot, the sheet feeder, the rear sheet feeder, and the front, which is not an option. You don't get a rear or front for poster board. You have the front for DVDs and CDs, but nothing else on the 1430. So we have just US letter. We're not going to do borderless here. My mouse just decided to die. Come on, there we go. Okay, so now that we have that set up, we are going to tell it to print, and we are going to pick change these settings here, printer settings, and we're just going to leave these on the basic settings. You can go into all of those options there, but we're just going to go basic settings, photo RPM, and this gives you an option of high speed. I didn't have high speed on the other printer, and high speed means you're going to get less picture quality. So we have the highest picture quality. Now we just need to pick the material. We're on photo paper, premium photo paper, semi-gloss. Okay. All right, so then you have these options: photo, best photo, or RPM. And we are going to turn off high speed. So just know that it can go faster. And then gloss optimizer. So this is to compare time and settings to the Epson 1430 to give you kind of a benchmark of what to expect. So we're going to go ahead and click print. Okay, now this is a print with gloss optimizer. And then we'll print one without gloss optimizer so you can see the difference. Okay, so it's coming out here. It does look really good. It looks fantastic, and it is printing much faster than the 1430. Okay, it's coming up. So as you can see, much faster, several minutes faster. But let's go ahead and compare these two prints. We'll get it under a better light than this. As you can probably tell already, this looks a bit muted colors. This looks a bit brighter. This is pigment, this is dye. Alright, next we're going to print similar settings with just a couple differences. So we'll go back to the printer here. And we will change it to, now remember we had semi-gloss and we had photo RPM. This time we're going to leave high speed on, but we are going to turn the gloss optimizer off so that you can see the difference between speed and what an image looks like without gloss optimizer. Go ahead and print. Okay, so that saved a bit of time. Now let's bring it over here and compare. So these two came from, I'll kind of put a glare on it so you can see. This one has gloss optimizer and this one does not. This one was set on high speed printing. So it really is hard to tell. They both look good enough to me, honestly. And I will say all three of these, if you look, you can see some brighter yellow in the dye ink than the pigment ink. So 1430 to P400. You do see more vivid colors, but this is probably more accurate. In fact, it is more accurate to the actual photograph. See if we can focus in on there. It's just a lot, it's more muted. Obviously the high speed setting saves time, and I'm trying to look for some differences in the gloss optimizer. I know that sometimes when you print something it just doesn't look right. It kind of pops out from the rest of the picture, and yet both of these look fine. None of the inks are... So anyway, those are the three compared images, both in time. And I'll lay these out. Let me lay these out so you can see it. Okay. All right, so let's talk accessories and features of the printer. It has Wi-Fi, it has a USB and an Ethernet port. Now this, if you're familiar with the older printers like the 1400 and 1430, it has a DVD tray. This includes the DVD tray, which is pretty much useless to me. I never use it. But you can also put thicker stocks in the front. It's got an adjusting thing there. This is for the really thick stuff, even poster board. The 1430 does not have this option. However, if you put in a 13-inch wide piece of poster board, you cannot print borderless. It will give a margin, and so just keep that in mind. Go ahead and close this. It's got the magnetic sensors on the front. Then you have the normal paper slot with the adjustable slide. Back here, this is the rear paper slot for finer materials. And I have noticed that even though, see, you can't, this is a one at a time type deal. You have to put one sheet in at a time and really baby it. You put it in and wait for it to grab, and if it's thicker thing like canvas, half the time I was having it kind of partially feed and then say paper jam, then I'd have to go to the print manager, click on pause it, unpause it, and then it would take it. Other times it wouldn't. It would just sit there. So I was very frustrated with this, and I wish that it could just grab a sheet and have a few sheets in there. That is not the case with this. However, you also have the option of using the roll adapter for any kind of material you have on a roll, and that just hooks in the back. I'll go ahead and turn this around so you can see. Okay, so here's the slot. Now you could maybe feed something back. I haven't tried, but it does curve. It's not just a straight entry. And it looks like if you tried to take this off, you might be affecting internal things in there. But here you have the USB port and the Ethernet port, the power supply, which is just a cable. There's no brick. But I will say that there's no room between here and here to fit a CIS system. This is the P400 continuous ink system. It has the resetting chips on there. You just take it out and put it back in. And I'm going to recommend this because if you just go off of the cartridge and you do any type of volume printing at all, you're going to have a hard time with the amount of cartridges you're going to be swapping. So get yourself one of these. I've got a link in the description of where you can get it. Also, this is one of the best deals on pigment ink that I found for this. This is, I believe it's 500 milliliters. I'll put a link in the description. This is the best deal on the bulk pigment ink. So those are the features of the P400. The only thing that I have a real, that I'm really disappointed with it is when you attach the rear slot feeder, you have to baby it, and I don't want to waste my time. If it's not a main thing that you're doing and you want the value of pigment inks and a faster printer over the 1430, you're spending double. This is a $600 printer. That's a $300 printer. And your CIS system will be mounting to the side as there's no room to accommodate it, unless you have a bigger table, obviously. But on mine, I like to use Velcro. So if I pick up my printer, my CIS is coming with me. And there's space between the power cable and the USB port. It fits perfectly. It's awesome. So there you have it. Those are the that's my review of the Epson P400 SureColor printer. It is a good printer. Just if you're going to be using canvas and things, it seems pickier than my 1430, which is why I got this. I wanted something. I thought they touted it as a canvas printer. That one's not touted as a canvas printer. This doesn't do rolls though. Roll is different. A roll feature would be different in feeding. Once it's fed, it's going. Anyway, that was my experience with it. Let me know if you have any questions, any comments, thoughts. Yeah, thanks for watching. Have a good day.